Hello, everybody. I am Marnie Clark, breast cancer coach, and with me is the beautiful Cathy LaBash. Cathy is a longtime survivor of breast cancer. In fact, she's been diagnosed 5 different times, and she's not just surviving, but she's thriving. And so I knew you'd want to hear what she's doing to help keep herself well and thriving. So welcome, Cathy. We're
Yeah,
so honored to have you here with us and sharing your
thank
story.
you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
I believe you're in Michigan, is that right?
Yes, the Detroit area of Michigan, um, right by Lake St. Clair. It's beautiful and cold.
Cold, yes. And you've been married like 52 and a half years, is that correct?
Yes, we were
Amazing.
high school sweethearts. We
Absolutely. Good.
was 15 when I met my husband.
Wow. Wow. What a beautiful story. So tell
Thank
us
you.
a little bit about your first diagnosis with breast cancer, which I believe you said was in 2002. Is that right?
Uh, I was diagnosed in 2001,
That's one.
the first time late in the year. And while I was deciding what to do, whether it was going to be a lumpectomy or mastectomy, I suddenly realized I had been ignoring my left breast. So I did a self exam and I found a pinhead lump. And I thought I'd wait till after my period came and went. And it was still there about a week or two later. So I went to see my surgeon. He had a hard time finding it. And after a while, he found it, sent me for another test, and I was diagnosed with a different type of cancer than what was in my right breast. So my right breast was lobular carcinoma and lobular carcinoma in situ. Then my left breast was ductal carcinoma and ductal carcinoma in situ with no clear margins.
Okay. And so what did you choose for your therapies that first time around?
At that point, I decided I should have bilateral mastectomies because I felt there was too much going on with no clear margins. And I had my bilateral in March of 2002. And then I went through chemo and no radiation that time, but about 12 weeks of chemo.
Okay.
Um, then I went on tamoxifen and I thought I was good to go. I felt like I was in a great big safety net after that.
Right. But that wasn't the case, was it?
No, I went back to living my life as normal. And 2009, I had a severe pain in underneath my left arm. And I went to my then oncologist and didn't get to see my regular one at the time. Um, I saw, someone that was filling in, and she treated it very lightly and said it was a sore muscle, a strained muscle, and go home and take Tylenol. And if I still have pain, come back in a couple weeks and see her. So I kind of went home thinking I was crazy. And I was busy that weekend. It was Thanksgiving weekend. So I was busy cleaning and shopping and cooking, and my daughters were coming home. And then Monday morning, everybody had gone back to their homes, and the pain came back. This time it had moved around to the front of my chest, and it felt like something was stabbing me. And I always heard it doesn't come with pain. So, but this time I didn't call my oncologist, I called my surgeon. and he told me to come right in. Um, he sent me for an MRI right away, and the cancer was back. It was the ductal cancer that had returned, and he did a biopsy. And he said the reason that I was experienced so much pain was because the lymph node that was affected by the cancer was so swollen that it had wrapped itself around my nerves. And he had to actually cut the nerves to remove the affected lymph nodes.
Oh,
So that time I was um, treated with another type of chemo and radiation. And the one thing that I really learned was to trust your body, trust your instincts, because had I listened to that doctor, the oncologist, I wouldn't be here. And I did change doctors at that point. And my new doctor believes me when I come in and say I have pain, because there were two more incidences after that I had severe pain and there was another recurrence. So,
how did all that make you feel when you kept being diagnosed? How did that affect you emotionally?
well, each time, you get in this safety net after chemo and radiation, and you think you're cured, you think you're good to go.
Hmm.
I believe that that is probably where my danger occurred, because that's when you have to take it the most seriously. The first time I was diagnosed, I told my sister, if cancer found me this time, no matter what I do, it can find me again. And I didn't take it seriously enough the first few times. I just kept living my life. I was a pastry chef, so I was creating desserts and trying them, and creating chocolates and trying them. And for me, sugar was probably the worst thing that could have happened to me. I had to stay off sugar completely and change my diet, change what I ate, what I drank, what I breathed. I believe it all affected my being.
Of course. Of course. And so, you also shared with me that you had a really deep emotional wound that happened some 20 years before you were diagnosed. And I really feel strongly that our emotional health is a huge factor in the lead up to a breast cancer diagnosis. Everyone,
Absolutely.
everyone I speak with is who has been recently diagnosed or diagnosed at all tells me that they were either under a huge amount of stress or there was some sort of traumatic thing that happened in their not too distant past. Some people are carers for ailing parents, and as soon as that parent either gets better or dies, then a little bit down the road they're diagnosed with breast cancer themselves. So um,
Absolutely.
it's a
My own my own mom, about a year after my dad passed away, he passed when I was 6, and when I was 7, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. I believe there truly is a connection to the stress, and um, it's a brokenheartedness,
that's
and
yeah.
it's who you hold closest to you can really hurt.
Yeah.
So,
So, tell me about the subsequent diagnoses. Just share with us a little bit about what happened, where it was found, and the things that you chose to help yourself get past that.
okay, so in 2014, I was again experiencing pain, and I went in to see my oncologist, and she ordered tests and another biopsy. Well, the tests, of course, revealed that I had another recurrence, um, went on chemotherapy for a year,
Where was
and
it?
then the recurrences were all on my left side. So they were connected to the ductal carcinoma. I've not had a recurrence with the lobular carcinoma, but the ductal was much more aggressive. Uh, they were ER, PR positive, and HER2 positive.
And was it found
And
in nodes, or because
pardon me,
you had no breast tissue at that point, so was it found in your lymph nodes?
yes, more lymph nodes. And then in 2017, I was experiencing pain again, and same thing. Oncologist sent me for tests, and this time it was revealed on my lung. So at that point, they did try a needle biopsy, but it failed. And she placed me back on the Kadcyla and said it would be something I'd be on the rest of my life. So I accepted that, and I was on it for 2.5 years. And then another PET scan showed that the activity that was pretty stable on my lung had picked up. And she recommended a lung resection at that time. And I asked her if we could just wait for a few months, get through the holidays, but I was upping all of my supplements and dosages and trying to work on it myself. And I ended up with another PET scan in January of 2020 that showed the activity was still there. So I did have the lung resection done in February of 2020. And I've been very good about taking extremely good care of myself with supplementation. And I do see a holistic doctor, so I get infusions every month. But I have not been back on chemo since February of 2020. So in a couple of weeks, it'll be 5 years. And I'm very grateful and prayerful every day.
Of course. And share with us a little bit about the supplements that you're taking and the very surprising thing that you told me about that you feel is doing good things for you.
Well, most of the supplements are um, very traditional: vitamin D3, vitamin C. I do take um, a liver support smoothie, and I do drink milk thistle tea. It's very important to me to keep my liver cleansed. The smoothie that I take has been devised by all of my doctors, have put the formula together, and I put vitamin C powder, wheatgrass powder, uh, fractionated fruit powder. Um, what else goes in there? MSM. There's a lot of different things that I also throw in some organic raw cocoa powder to give it some flavor. And I throw in liquid iodine because that I believe is very helpful with breast cancer.
Yep. That
And
all,
I mix that in, pardon me,
that all sounds amazing.
mix it in my smoothie and throw in a banana and some organic frozen mango and whip it up, and that's my milkshake.
Awesome.
Um, I also take vitamin E, vitamin A supplementation, and berberine, I believe, is one of the most important supplements that I take. It helps eradicate the sugar in your system. A lot of diabetics take it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be very similar to metformin, and it stabilizes your insulin level. And I try to keep my sugar to a minimum. I stay off all the white stuff like flour, sugar, um, not too many potatoes and white rice.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that I learned about was the fenbendazole, which is in the form, it's a dog dewormer. There is a human version of it called menbendazole, but I learned of this from a man by the name of Joe Tippins, and he had a uh, lung lung cancer that was he was given, I think, about 6 weeks to live, and he started taking the fenbendazole, and that was in 2016. Here we are, 2024, and he's thriving. He was placed in a study and with Keytruda, and everyone in the study, I believe, that he was in with did not make it, but he was taking the fenbendazole, and he's the only one that made it in that study. So I was inspired by that, and
Yes, that's a
I
pretty amazing
believe
story. Very inspiring.
I believe that has helped as well. You
And
can get it at
when in your journey did you start that one? Do you remember?
um, about 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago, 5.5. Yeah.
Great.
So
You're
I
keeping
take it three times a week,
track?
and then I'm off 4 days. So 3 days on, 4 days off, and 1 gram a day for 3 days.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. That's good information. And you also did IV vitamin C at some point too? You're still doing?
Yes. Right now I'm doing the Myers Plus, and it's filled with, there is vitamin C, but it's filled with lots of vitamins and minerals. I see my holistic doctor once a month and get that infusion. And I just feel like it boosts my immune system and gives me strength to carry on and thrive.
Yes. And so any evidence of disease right now as you're speaking with me?
None.
Wow.
The last evidence was in January 2020. So that was a PET scan. And I've been NED, no evidence of disease ever since.
Fantastic.
Thankful, thankful to God every day.
So good to hear this. I know there's many stage 4 people out there that are going to want to hear this information and will be very excited about what you've shared with us today. So fantastic. Thank you for sharing all of that with us. Is there anything else that you feel important that you'd like to talk about?
I believe in just you know, believing, don't listen to the chatter of stages and loss of hope.
I so
Keep
agree.
it,
I so agree with that. Hope is, hope is everything. And, you know,
if you're prayerful, believe in prayer. And when people want to do something for you, ask them to pray, number one. Of course, they want to do more than that, but that's what gave me my strength, and it lifted me and gave me the faith that I could get up every day and do this.
yeah,
So my prayer every morning is thank God I woke up. And when I go to bed, it's thank God I'm going to bed. And just believe if I can beat it, you can beat it.
absolutely. I had a similar experience myself with prayer, so I know the power of prayer and how incredible and wonderful it is. So, yeah, I'm glad you shared
It's
that.
number one.
Yeah.
Prayer and love,
Oh,
the
love.
love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
Just that
it,
huge.
it all gives you strength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Cathy. This has been so interesting to listen to, and so, like I said, so inspiring. And I know that it's going to make a difference for a lot of people. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm honored to be asked. Truly. Thank you.
We're so happy to have you here and sharing this information. So it's really great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say goodbye for now.